Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Cap at Home Facebook Live with me today, Miss Gabby, and today we're going to be making Starmobiles. I'm really excited because it gets you going out and looking for some twigs outside in an adventure, and these are what they look like. So really cool because we get to use some nature and outside things, and if you have some yarn, we have that lying around. But yes, so that's what we are making today. So let us get started. So today what we're going to need, let me get situated and I will show you. There we go. So what we're going to be needing today, we're gonna go outside and we're gonna find some, small twigs to form the shapes of our stars. I say you can use like a variety of sizes. It depends on how big or small you want your star to be when you're making them. So you can find large sticks and then you can also just cut them down to size, which is really cool that you're able to do that. And, it's everything to your liking. So you see, I already have some twigs here. I have a lot of other ones. I already cut them down just for the timing of this video. And so you want to get some small sticks to make your stars or a wide variety, and to make the base or what your stars hang from, you want like a larger twig as well. So you can pause the video, take your time and go outside and look in your backyard or through your neighborhood or anything just to find some twigs. And if you have a bunch, you can keep them for next time. And you want some scissors for today. And if you want to, you can use hot glue. Obviously you want an adult. I like to use the low temperature hot glue just, because it is a little bit safer, but you definitely do want an adult to help you with gluing your sticks together. Or you can use white glue. That's just going to take a little bit of longer drying time, and that's, up to you. But mine's already preheating and ready for us. And you see here, I also have some extra glue sticks to put into the glue gun. And next you want yarn. So if you have any yarn or string or anything left over, or extra things, anything crafty, I have a few variety of colors. I have this like ombre purple, this ombre blue, and this black, but you don't have to use these kinds, whatever you have. Definitely if you want to think of a theme to make your Starmobile, maybe a certain color palette or, like primary colors or anything like that. That's really cool too, that you can stop and really think about that. So I already went ahead and just for the sake of time, because, this project is really great for, kind of giving you time to stop and think about what you're doing and, practicing with your concentration and your focus. So that's why I went ahead and already started some things. But you see, I'm working on top of something. So here's my table, and it's always important for us to be working on top of something, especially when we're working with such things like glue, or anything of that sort, just so we can keep our area clean, because, we definitely love to keep everything clean and finish how we started, which is a nice clean area. So you see here that I already glued some of my star pieces together like that here, but I'm going to show you how we're going to glue one. So it's important to lay out your star. So you can kind of see how I'm starting it out here and how I'm doing that to get my star shape. So this is, just like helping, to kind of start out our star. To see if we need a different size twig, maybe that seems little short there. I don't really like how that really completes my star. And I think this one would work way better. So here we are here. And you can lay out all of your stars. It depends on how many stars you want on your mobile. Like, my example one over here, I have 5. But this one that I'm creating, with you guys today is just 4. So, it all depends on how many you want to do, but it's easy just to lay them all out and get started that way. So, you can have an adult help you, grab your parent or something. And I'm just going to go ahead and dab some glue there. And what I'm doing is I'm just slowly letting it fall, kind of letting gravity do its work there, and kind of taking my time to do that. I just, practicing, I already found out that this is probably the best way to really start off. and gluing our stars together. And you can kind of see already the glue is kind of creating these webs, which, you know, once everything dries, it's easy to just kind of peel those off. It's not that big a deal, but I always say less is more glue. You know, especially working with either white glue, but you know, white glue obviously will take a little bit of a longer time. But I like to reinforce my stars by just kind of gluing the cross points of everything. You can kind of see how I'm laying all of that down over here, and I didn't mean to do that. That's all right. That wasn't too hot, but you can kind of see, you know, where my glue is kind of starting to fall here. And so we're just gonna take a few minutes to let that dry. I'm gonna put my separate twig over here to the side. And let me see, kind of gather. So that's why it's really important to be working on something, because on top of something, because you can kind of see the glue has fallen onto my workspace. But it's easy because hot glue is really easy to kind of peel off like once it dries. So you can kind of see I'm then taking the extra strings here and just pulling them off. And it's all right because the yarn is going to cover. So I'm going to actually let that fully dry while I continue on to the next step for us. So, and now this is, you know, where you really want to take your time and kind of pay attention to where you're kind of going with the string here. So I'm going to just go ahead for this example. I'm going to just keep everything with this yarn colors. So it's just like my different like hues of purple. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab my string here, and I'm just going to leave it kind of attached. Like I'm not going to cut any separate pieces because I just don't know how much string I'm going to want to use. So I'm going to just put those off to the side. So to start off here, and you do want to be gentle because sometimes the glue doesn't really stick so much with the twigs. But I'm going to just go ahead and tie off a knot. Like you see how I'm tying it off here. I'm just going to do one knot at the top here. And if there's an extra, you know, you can cut that off at the end. I'll show you. But here you do want to take your time and really kind of wrapping around each point of the star, just because, you know, we do want to make sure that it does stay that like star point. I am going to pull a little bit of string out from here just to give me a little bit of slack to really give that effect of the star. So you see here, and I'm just starting off like this, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and, you know, wherever I feel like going with my yarn next is I'm just gonna go ahead and continue wrapping. So you see, you kind of want to really take your time and really think about maybe what you're doing and how much string. Like, you know, with my previous one here, you know, I used quite a bit of yarn. And if you want to be a little bit more scarce with your yarn, not so much, you know, that's okay too. You know, it's your project, and you can kind of see how the yarn is starting to fall like into different places. And I know I'm going a little fast, but it's nice because you're able to take your time and really kind of concentrate and focus. So I'm gonna pull a little more slack out here for me to continue on. And it's nice because I really enjoy the colors of these this yarn that I'm using, because it does kind of give you all of those different hues and different looks that it's giving. And I'm not like pulling too tight like across the twigs, you know, just because I want the twigs almost to breathe. You know, you don't want to crush anything, but you see how this is going, and they're, you know, kind of all felt together there. You know, it depends. So I'm actually going to end right where I started. So what I like to do just to secure everything and how it's going to be is I put a little bit of dab of glue, of the hot glue, and what I do is just wrap the yarn here at the end. And I'm going to take my scissors. So how I wrap that, I'm going to take my scissors and just trim that. And I'm going to make sure not to touch the hot glue, but so there's my, you know, second completed star. So you can kind of see how the difference, and it's okay on the decision that you know, that you want to do. And I see that, you know, Miss Blasey is commenting, ribbons or stripes of, like strips of fabric would work too. Yep, that's really great too. So if you don't have yarn, you know, anything of that sort would be really cool too. And you can kind of see how it all laid out there. And so I'm going to put this one off to the side to let dry. I'm going to start my done pile over here. So, and then now you see, so that one was a little bit of a larger star, and this one is a bit smaller. And, you know, that's just a conscious decision that I made just to show you how different everything is going to look, and, you know, how much yarn you'll see. You know, if you want to cover the entire thing with the yarn, you know, you can do that too. And, you know, it's all about, you know, personal preference, and you're the artist, and nothing is wrong here. Absolutely nothing is wrong. So you see I'm kind of starting out here, and I'm going to just slowly start to wrap here and slowly move to the next one. So you can even not even go through the middle if you don't want to. You know, you kind of see how I'm just letting the yarn kind of fall. But it is really important to follow along the star shape. Just because we don't want it to look like maybe a spider web or just something different, you know, other than a star that we're like not trying to accomplish here. So you see how I'm doing that here. It's kind of connecting everything together. So I'm going to maybe just do a few in the middle. I'm not going to do too much, just because that's just how I feel. I think it would be a nice little contrast when I do finish the entire, you know, Starmobile. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim that little extra piece, and I'm going to go ahead while I'm here, trim this little extra piece as well. So, you know, I like to start my trash pile, just put it off to the side, making sure everything is nice and neat together. So you see how that is finished there. So you see the difference between all of these so far, which I really like the kind of the contrast between all of them. They are very similar, which I really like, but I also like that they are very unique and different in their own way. So yep, here's my last one. And yeah, so this always just takes a little bit of concentration, a little bit of focus. You know, this helps really with your like motor skills, kind of your concentration and your focus as well. So you can kind of see how I'm doing that. And you know, and if you know, are like, oh shucks, like I really just don't like this. What's awesome about the yarn is you can just unravel it and restart. So, you know, nothing is wrong, but if you don't like it, you can just always go ahead and restart. So you kind of see how I switched up my yarn, my wrapping here. You know, this one's gonna be a little different. You see kind of this point is a little smaller, you know. So it's all kind of like how you feel and how you want to do it. So that one's not really hugging too much. Let's see if I can fix that. So these points are a little smaller, but that's all in the design, especially too when you're laying everything out. You can kind of acknowledge, maybe I don't like that so much. I can switch out twigs. You know, that's why we have different sized twigs. And, you know, if you run out of twigs, all you have to do is really just go outside, you know, and go in your backyard or go down the street, you know, wherever you found your first ones. And that's what's really great is nature always supplies us with art supplies. And, you know, it's a wonderful thing to be able to just go out and grab some stuff. And it's really beneficial too, because you can always save things for, you know, a different class, like a different project or something. So there's that. So that one looks totally different from everything else. And, you know, that's okay because that's my project and it's unique. So then the next thing we want to do is, you know, I want to, you know, start off with my decorate my, my base. So this is, you know, the thing that's all my stars are going to hang from. So, you know, my first one, I did a cross here, like I did an X. This one, I just want to hang straight. So, you know, it depends on where you want to place it, like outside or inside in your room. This one, I want to make like a wall hanging. So what I want to do is I'm going to just go ahead and tie off, you know, my string here. And if you have other like embellishments or something, so if you want to turn this into a galaxy of some sort, you know, that's really great too. If you have extra things, or if you want to cut out other moons or, you know, different colored stars or paper stars, that's really great too that you can do. you know, just another thought or idea. If you have a lot of supplies laying around or something, just like extra paper, or, you know, you can color it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna slowly wrap, you know, my yarn here to make a design. And, you know, you can do the whole twig or the whole stick if you'd like, but I'm just gonna do, you know, little designs here and there. So you can see how I'm just, you know, wrapping. I'm not, you know, twisting myself. I'm just twisting the twig. Like, I'm not wrapping the yarn myself. I'm just twisting the twig. So I'm just slowly watching to see how close everything is getting, because I kind of want to, you know, them to be a little bit tight. So you see how I'm doing that here. And so I really like how this color is starting to lay. So what I'm going to do is just watch until it finishes with that purple again. And then I'm going to just stop and tie it off. And, you know, if it's kind of losing the spacing there, you can just go ahead and adjust it. So, you know, this is really nice to focus and take your time with as well. And I'm just going to move a little bit faster just because of time. But, you know, obviously we want you to take your time and create something super beautiful and something that you're super proud of. So you see how that purple is coming. So it basically went from all the colors on the yarn. And that's exactly what I wanted. So you can see that. And I'm just going to go ahead and snip it. And, you know, maybe if you don't want to tie it, tie a knot off, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap. I just put a little bit of glue, and I'm just gonna wrap this glue here. So I don't actually need, I'm gonna take that. So I don't actually need to tie it off. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it that way. So maybe if the knot, you don't like it necessarily, you can just cut that off too. So there you go, the extra string. So that's up to you, how you want that. But you see, so, you know, I wanna do it exactly the same. I'm not gonna do it over the whole thing, I decided. That's just how I want it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tie off this side. I'm just gonna do 2 sections with my mobile, and that's just how I wanna do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go a little bit faster here to show how this is gonna look. So I'm thinking this is gonna be a wall, like for my wall, you know? So, you know, my previous one, I did the cross stick so I can hang it. I was actually thinking I want to hang it outside, like in my garden, next to my garden. I think it would look really pretty, but, you know, if you have somewhere else in mind that you want to hang it, that's really great too. You know, so maybe you can even kind of design it to where it's going to fit in your room or whatever room that you're deciding to put it in. See, and if it just kind of bunched up a little, that's all right. I'm just going to unravel it and go ahead and start again. So there we are. Whoops, just pushed my gun off the table, my hot glue gun. I'm just gonna go ahead and gotta definitely be careful with the hot glue gun. And you can kind of see how I'm just wrapping it around the glue there. Perfect. Doop. And I'm just gonna trim it. And perfect. So here is my hanging stick. I'm gonna trim this too. So next we want to hang our stars from our base twig, so basically our wall hanging. So I kind of want them to stagger in size, so I'm just going to go ahead and tie off, you know, four different lengths of yarn. So I'm going to cut maybe this one just a little short here. And this one, I could start it to where it's just a little bit longer, you know, but you can kind of gauge and see where I'm gonna double knot this. You know, I wanna make sure that they're gonna stay. So maybe I want this to be maybe just a little bit shorter, or maybe even a little bit longer. So you can kind of see here how I'm doing that. Or they're gonna be close to the same length. I can figure out too towards the end when I'm actually tying them on, you know, where I'm going to put them. And I can show you where I'm deciding. You know, you can see too, just with the lengths to shorten them. You know, especially you can even wrap them too once you do tie the stars together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tie off this last string. And if you want to reinforce anything, you can go ahead and just use that hot glue. Have an adult help you. Ask to just put a dot, you know, or something of that sort. So you can see here how I have created the different lengths off my twig here. I know it's a little tough to see, but I'm going to then now show you how to, I'm going to put my yarn off to the side now, and I'm going to just go ahead and show you how we're going to tie off. So just like we tied off like our first, you know, piece of string to the very top, you know, you can push some of the yarn away to the side of that or something, you know, like one of the points, and you can just shove, you know, the yarn. This one I put a lot of, you know, I did a lot of yarn work here, so there's not much spacing, you know, but you want to make sure that you'll have that room to do that. And let's see, just struggling a little bit here, but it's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I put it through this top string here, and I'm just going to go ahead and double knot it. So I went ahead and double knotted it, and there's that first one there. So you can see that. So, you know, I can decide which, maybe I want the big one, maybe the really like small one here. But see, here's like a little bit more room to put my yarn to be able to tie through it. So I go ahead and, you saw how I did that, just put it right through one of those spacing holes there, and just go ahead and you want to make sure you double knot it just to make sure that it is going to stay together. Yep, so there's the second one. So you see how maybe they're a little too close in, you know, in length, oops. And I can just wrap that to be a little shorter. I was wrapping it just to be a little shorter. You can see how I did that. And then this one is really long. I cut this string pretty long. And that's okay, because you can just go ahead and trim it. I don't want it to be that long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and trim it a little. So I went ahead and just trimmed that, and you know, I'm gonna decide maybe what side I wanna hang it on, but I think I like it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and trim, or just tie that off. Remember, double knotting it, just so we're making sure that it is absolutely secure. And I'm gonna just cut this excess off because I don't like that showing so much. The same with this one here. And this one as well. So there we go. Okay, so now we're off to the final and last one that we need to tie off. And this one is a little long too, but we can see how it's gonna look all together, you know, just to make sure, you know, we wanna see if we need to shorten the string a little bit, so it just looks a little more cohesive or just a little staggered. And so there, I tied it off, trimmed that one. So I did that, and you know, this one seems a little long. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and wrap this a few. I think I wanna make it just a little shorter. And what's great is that you see that I'm wrapping it. If you decide to change your mind at one point or eventually, you can just go ahead and unwrap it. And that's what's really like awesome about that. So I also have these extra or excess here on the tops, and we don't want those showing. We're gonna just trim those off. Perfect. Just went ahead and trimmed all of them off. So next what we wanna do is we wanna make sure we have the string available for us to be able to actually create, you know, our wall hanging or mobile, wherever you decide to put today, you know, what you're making. So I'm going to go ahead and take my string, and I'm going to just, you know, take the one end here. I'm gonna tie it off. You know, depending on how low we want it to hang, or anything, I am going to just tie it off here, and I'm going to just measure it out a little bit, very close here to the other side of the string, and you can kind of see how, you know, how much slack you can give it, but I'm just going to go ahead and tie it off here. So I just kind of eyeballed it, because I'm not sure where I'm going to hang mine exactly, but you know, I can always change the sizing and the length of it too. So I'm going to double knot it because that's super important. And we also want to make sure it does hang level. So here we are. So there we have it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in a better angle. Our wall hanging. So here we have it. So here's our Starmobile. Well, here's mine. And that's how I showed you. So, you know, you can kind of picture it like when it's on the wall here. So you can kind of see too if you, oh, maybe I don't want the stars that low or they're too similar in length. You know, that's your decision to make. But you can kind of see and you can adjust to your liking. So there you have it. So there is your Starmobile using twigs from the outside world. And if you want to use yarn, or if you have extra yarn or strings or ribbon, you know, those are all things that can really work and be beneficial for you as well. So now is my favorite part, absolutely, is cleanup. So, you know, I always really enjoy kind of, you know, keeping my area clean the whole time. But you see I have all my scraps and you can see a lot of like, you know, just remnants of twigs and things like that. So first of all, when you're done using your glue gun, you definitely want to unplug it and let it cool down before you do put it away. So I went ahead and just unplugged mine. And you can see all these extra, you know, like twig, just like little things here. So I'm gonna just put everything on the board, the board that I've been working on. And you know, all my extra twigs I can save for a different project. So I'm gonna put those off to the side. And I'm gonna leave all my glue sticks or everything off to the side too. And I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe this all off onto the board that I'm working on. So you can see basically I am starting off just like I started, which is nice and clean, and you know, just putting all the supplies away and things like that too. So letting the glue gun cool. And yes, so there you have it. So thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely stay tuned at 2 o'clock with Miss Van today. She's showing you how to make a multimedia self-portrait. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you share with us maybe your Starmobile if you know, learned a different way or found out or thought of a different way to do it. You know, we'd love to see it. I hope you share it with us. So yeah, thanks for joining me today. You enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you.